Today we're going to be covering biology and the topic of photosynthesis. So as you can see behind me, we have the Z scheme. However, in this video, I'm not actually going to be talking about the Z scheme in particular. I'm going to be talking about it in the context of the thylakoid membrane and the electron transport chain. If you want to look at the Z scheme in particular and any information onto this, I recommend you look in the textbook of whatever specification you are currently doing. Now, in your exams, there's a very high chance that you're not going to be quizzed on the Z scheme itself. However, in the context and the scenario of it being used in the thylakoid membrane. So that's what we're going to be covering today. Now, it's very common that with this topic, students may at times feel quite confused. Now, the reason is because it's quite hard to make the link between the Z scheme and then insert this directly into the thylakoid membrane. That's what I'm going to be doing today in this video. So now we have our complete diagram. This is the thylakoid membrane. Over here we have the thylakoid space, and then up here we have the stroma. So like I said, we're going to now be putting the Z scheme into a context. So firstly, our first step will be the photolysis of water. So the green is going to be for the photon, the light energy. Light energy striking there. We also have some light energy striking here. I'll come into that in a minute. Let's say we have water, H2O. Now, remember what we said, photolysis. Photolysis, this is the breaking down of water via light. So as that energy strikes, photolysis of water, we get left with electrons, protons, as well as oxygen. So oxygen, that's off to respiration. Now the proton, I'm going to put a star here since we're quite far from over there. I'll put a star over here. I'll come on back to that in a minute. Now let's go to the electron. This is the main part right now. And we also get given electrons. So the electron here enters photosystem 2. The photon, the light energy, this strikes photosystem 2, and what this does is it boosts the electron to a higher energy level as the electron becomes excited. So the electron now comes up to here. Now what happens is the electron is accepted in the electron transport chain in the thylakoid membrane. And also it's very important to note that as the electron is moving, this is a process that constantly is going to keep on happening. So as the process happens, the oxidized chlorophyll then gets another electron because the photolysis of water is constantly occurring. Now our electron is up here. The electron then passes through the electron transport chain. Bear in mind, this is photosystem 1, so it needs to reach here now. So this is our electron here, then here, and here. And as we can see, it's kind of declining, going towards photosystem 1. Now the electron is in the electron transport chain. So this passes from carrier to carrier, as we can see here. And what happens is this is actually proton pumps. So let me change the color. These are all proton pumps. The energy that's lost via the electrons moving from pump to pump, this is used, once again, to pump protons from the stroma into the thylakoid space. Now, as we can see, there's quite a bit of a build-up in the thylakoid space of protons. So what happens now is our protons, as they're coming and building up here, let's say it's here, they fall back through the stalked particle back into the stroma. Stalked particle is also known as ATP synthetase, or you could call it ATP synthase. It's the same thing. Now, as the protons fall back via the stalked particles, 2 ATP molecules are formed as ADP is phosphorylated. So let's say we have 2 ADP. As this happens, it's phosphorylated, and now we've got 2 ATP. This is a very important molecule which we'll be coming back to. Now, what we did was we went on quite a bit of a tangent. We went to start talking about the protons. However, let's go back to the electrons. So the electron now has reached photosystem 1. As we can see, we've got our photon, light energy over here. That strikes photosystem 1. So our electron is here. Light energy strikes photosystem 1. This boosts it to an even higher energy level than before. So our electron is now excited. Now our electron is now entering the final electron carrier. Now if you remember, if we come back to here, this star represented the protons that came from the photolysis of water, and I put the star here. So what we've got now is we have got our electrons, our protons. I'll draw that back there now. Bear in mind, this is the proton from the photolysis. So I'll do it up here now. So here we have got our electrons, our protons, and we've also got our NADP. Now what these two do is they reduce NADP into reduced NADP, or you can call this NADPH. We've gone all the way through, And what we have got is two ATP molecules. And we have also got one NADPH molecule, or reduced NADP. I call it reduced NADP. And these two, they go off into the Calvin cycle. So that part of the video covered non-cyclic photophosphorylation. So now let's talk about cyclic photophosphorylation. As you can see behind me, I rubbed all of this area off, as cyclic photophosphorylation only includes photosystem 1. It does not include photosystem 2. So with non-cyclic photophosphorylation, if NADP was available and the electrons and the protons came, then it helps to reduce the NADP, and that goes off to the Calvin cycle. However, with cyclic photophosphorylation, this doesn't happen. So with cyclic photophosphorylation, if the NADP is not available, the electron, which is over here, it then falls back into the electron transport chain. However, this is at an intermediate level. So this is the normal level. It then falls back, don't make my marker dirty, into an intermediate level. And what happens is this is going to keep on happening until an NADP is available. And cyclic photophosphorylation will produce one ATP. And then this ATP will be used for either going into the Calvin cycle, maybe opening the stomata, or any other processes. So that is the light-dependent stage of photosynthesis. If you have any questions, feel free to comment them below.